results matter. It's great that everyone gets along. It's great that the players like the coach. Coach is a really good guy. At the end of the day, again, you are what your record says. So if we're using the Bill Parcells method of defining this team, which I think is pretty fair at this point, don't you?
Of course it is, yes.
You're a bum slayer that can't win on the road.
Yeah.
And that sounds cold, but you beat bad teams. 4 wins against teams that are collectively 7-23, and you're 3-17 on the road. When that changes, you will redefine yourself.
Yeah,
but
you control the narrative, like you always say.
Until then, this is who you are.
All right, let's go through this list. All right, can we get some music behind this, and then we'll get to your calls at 332-3776. I also want to update everyone on some of the things that Matt Eberflus said today as he continues to drive us nuts and doubling down on all these poor decisions. So we'll go through the poor decisions, and then we'll play you how he reacted today about them. So what? All right, Waddle. Let's compose this.
I didn't go most egregious to least egregious.
Well, we can rank them after you list them.
I wrote down handoff to Kramer.
Right.
I wrote down allowing.
All right, good.
Allowing a pass on 1st and goal on the final drive, the fade route, allowing the quarterback to actually execute a run pass decision.
Quarterback throw late.
Yeah. Decision on 2nd down to allow a 13-yard completion without even defending it.
That's to set up the Hail Mary.
Not calling a timeout when your player was not in position, speaking Stevenson, or if in fact you said that players were tired at the time or gassed and you could have inserted them after a timeout. Spying on the final play. Not challenging the McLaren catch earlier in the game. And then the last thing I wrote down, and this is not necessarily, I mean, you have to, it's coached this way. Your deepest defender, or your defender has to be, you have to have somebody as deep as the deepest receiver. Deeper than the deepest possible receiving option. And there was absolutely nobody there. So if you think about it, and I'm willing to add others as well, but the ones that...
Like what are some of the other ones that you... Like, how about not being ready to play?
That's there as well. Not being ready to play and coming out and being flat on offense as well. You did not... I don't believe there was a single pass thrown to a running back, right? So you had one pass to a tight end, one pass to a running back. So you didn't have your tight ends and running backs involved in the passing game.
Wait, there was no pass to a running back yesterday, or no completion to a running back?
I don't believe there was. Well, he only had like 3 completions in the first 30-some minutes of the game.
So no passing to the running backs, but yet they had DJ Moore run the ball twice. Neither was good, right?
I have 3 catches for Rome, 2 catches for Keenan, 2 catches for Moore, 1 catch for Komet, 1 catch for Carter, 1 catch for Everett. So they actually had 2 balls thrown to tight ends and not a single completion to a running back.
What's the worst, guys? What's the worst coaching mistake?
Did you, Waddle, you mentioned the fade?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So that was the quarterback throw late to stop the clock on fade.
When the Commanders still had a timeout.
This was when the Bears were going in for the score on the first down play instead of handing the ball off, making them burn a timeout if you don't score.
I have to say, and maybe my answer is influenced by the refusal to change his perspective on it, but their approach to the 2nd down play before the Hail Mary, to me, is most egregious. Because you can basically end that play. If you play sideline protection.
And he's gotten 3 chances, by the way. After the game, they were making fun of his answer on Get Up today. Yeah. And then he had Cap and J. Hood, and then the press conference, and all 3 times he said basically the same thing, including at the press conference yesterday saying it didn't matter. I think Chris Emma asked him that, and he said those 13 or 10 yards didn't matter.
Right.
Of course it matters.
That's why I think that to me is the most egregious.
That's the most egregious. Okay.
For me, probably.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't get a big argument from me. Here's Eberflus on that. Decision not to defend the sideline pass to set up the Hail Mary.
Yeah, so there was 6 seconds to go with the play before the last play. They were at the 35-yard line. So again, they don't have a chance to get themselves in the field goal range there with the time, and they can't move the ball far enough to get that done. So we were playing for, making sure we got nothing over the top of us. We were moved up a little bit there, and then they threw a 13-yard pass, and then it gave us 2 seconds to go for the last play, and then we got our setup there, and we've done that play, 50 times, since we've all been here together at least. And we just got to do a good job. We showed the guys on the sideline prior to that particular series. So we were all set, ready to go. Again, we just got to have better focus and better attention to detail there to be able to have a body on a body.
You know what he does? He recaps what they did instead of answer the question.
He does the recap.
He just says, here's what happened. And then I think they pressed him on it, and then he answered this way.
Yeah. Again, like that play before the play, I'm not concerned about. It's the last play.
I'm like, to say that, like, to utter those words, like, how does Ryan Poles sit him down in his office? As good of a guy as he may be, as firm of a handshake as he may have, as nice as his new beard may be, how could you, as the general manager, when you hold everyone in that building accountable? Many people in at House Hall have lost their job in the last year when they've changed over their staff. How could you say these words?
Yeah. Again, like that play before the play, I'm not concerned about. It's
the play before the play, I'm not concerned about. It gave them 13 yards to put them in Hail Mary territory.
Yeah. Also, let me ask you a question. This is simple math. Would you rather a team, you're trying to keep them out of your end zone from distance, would you rather them run one play or two plays?
One.
Because if you protect the sideline, the truth is you're probably only going to get one play off. Because if they do drop back and they throw the Hail Mary from that position, it's going to take 6 seconds. The play's going to be over. Like, they're going to have one opportunity to throw it. It's going to land at least 10 yards short, and more than likely, you're going to be able to defend it even if they catch it. DJ caught one deep against the Jags in London, but it was short of the goal line, right?
Yeah.
That happens every now and again.
Of course.
It's going to be one play. One play if you protect the sidelines.
I don't know how he could say those words. And then this is, okay, so this is Matt Eberflus and the Kramer play. Again, all he talks about is the hits principle. The T stands for the ball. They value the ball. So what better way to value the ball than on the goal line, you give it to a man who has never carried the football in his life in an important game.
Down 5?
You're going in for the game-leading score. Down 5. Fourth quarter. Let's give it to the big man who's never carried the football in his life, but we value the ball.
Yeah, I mean, we have multiple plays that are 1-yard plays, right? We have some that are in 12 personnel, 11 personnel. We have some that are in that goal line package that we had. And you want to have some of that, to be able to do that. That was a 1-yard play that we had. It was wedge blocking, with Doug up the middle. And if we didn't get that, we were going to our we have other plays. We had 3 or 4 plays that were 1-yard plays from that personnel group. So that was one of them. And we've practiced that, we repped it, and did a good job of practice with it. We were confident in it.
Do you think that is what Kevin O'Connell is saying? Do you think that is what they're talking about up in Green Bay with Matt LaFleur? Do you think that your football Jesus Shanny would ever talk about that?
No.
Do you think Andy Reid would be talking the way he talks about?
No, not. It's time and place is everything. Maybe if you had a 14-point lead, maybe if you were down 25 and you wanted to put this play on film to just give opponents in the future something to think about. Down 5 after struggling the entire day on offense. I just don't know why you choose to give the ball to Kramer versus giving it to Roschon Johnson. It makes no sense to me. Time and place.
Don't get me wrong. I would still say he needs to go even if he answered this way. But how about, guys, I'm the head coach. The buck stops with me.
Yes.
It wasn't good enough. It didn't get it done. And blame me. Or while we thought it may have worked, it wasn't good enough. And in retrospect, we wish we had a do-over there.
And again, I mentioned this earlier. Like, he has to he has to say in meetings on Friday when they go over all this stuff, okay, the Kramer play is in, but we're only going to use this if we're up 20 or down 20. We're not going to use it if we're within a one-score situation. It's just the risk isn't worth the reward. It's just that's the way it's going to be. And if Shane Waldron, for some reason, resists and goes rogue, then you stop the play and you tell him absolutely effing not, and you don't allow the play to be executed.
And really quick, Meller, I lost in this. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. The hidden thing here in that play, too, was that Doug Kramer was currently playing guard because Bill Murray was out. So they moved Doug Kramer out of his guard position. They brought Tevin Jenkins back, who was already hurt with his knee injury, to block at the guard position on that play. He got bent over on the play and got re-injured on the play. So not only did you fumble the football and not score, but you also screwed things up from an injury perspective with Tevin Jenkins. Am I wrong on that? Or is that another side action from what happened on that play?
No, it absolutely is correct. And
yet he's defending it.
A head coach, and that's the thing, Silvy. There's been times at the end of games, it's already happened on 3 previous occasions where there were colossal collapses by the Bears under Matt Eberflus. We've outlined them already. And he's at times taken fake accountability, where he says it's on me, it starts with me. But then today and last night, when he's had the opportunity to actually take some real accountability and point out when he's asked and pressed on the issues, he sidesteps it and says, no, it's more the last play. Why? Because he's already in CYA mode. He sees it. He knows he's under pressure right now, and he has no answer for the mistakes he's making, and it's starting to build.
No answer.
Because
You're right.
The reality is that the expectations have now been heightened. And with expectations becomes great responsibility. And if he answers truthfully about that second to last play, the only thing he can say is it was a poor choice by me. Because there's nothing the players did on that last play. He called the defense.
Unless he truly believes he's in the right.
Well, then he's not qualified to be the head coach.
Yeah. I mean, look, Kevin Byard had to really bring it to his attention, too. And again, think about the logic here. Not only is the logic bad to begin with, that you're giving it to a man who never carried the ball in his life, but now a play that they repped and they liked. Doug Kramer is now in the starting lineup at offensive guard.
You would think you'd shelve that play.
You'd shelve it now.
Yeah.
Okay, Doug Kramer, who's been our fullback, we're calling on him to start at guard or to play guard because Bill Murray's hurt, Tevin Jenkins is hurt. We have a rash of injuries at offensive line. Braxton Jones is hurt. We can't move Bill Murray to the fullback position because we have no one healthy to play guard. Think how ass backwards that is.
Well, and again, if you want to connect dots, you have a tremendously valuable asset on your hands right now. If the decision-making is flawed in other areas, why do you believe that it's not flawed in the area of developing your young quarterback? If you're going to make all of these decisions, which turn out to be the wrong decisions, with very little, strong thought and evidence behind them, what makes you think that on a daily basis they're doing the right thing to put this kid in the right position to make the best of his situation?
I don't.
Because that to me
worried.
is what's as important as anything. Because if these issues or these problems or these mistakes, you think they're just unique to these individual situations, and then every other decision that's being made in the building is actually made in a sound fashion, really? Isn't that a bit presumptuous?
Mm-hmm.
If you feel this way about how to defend the Washington Commanders on second down, allowing them to get into position to even throw a Hail Mary, why would I be confident that what you're doing Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday to get your young quarterback prepared to play in the National Football League game, why would I be 100% confident that the process you're putting him through is the right one?
This is such an important time for us as Bears fans, and this is why it hits home for me. So, because now they're getting good. Now I think they have a quarterback that they've never had before. Now it's so important to have all that, what you just said. Now it's so important to have a good caretaker as a head coach. and to do all the right things, managing a game, calling plays, being smart and not dumb. And yet there are multiple infractions that you just listed on just a couple of plays. Not one, multiple infractions on multiple plays that cost them.
First of all,
that make no sense to any of us.
You've put this young kid behind an offensive line that's not exactly secure, right? Like, that was step one that led you to, be a little bit anxiety-ridden. And maybe they are doing everything right developing him. I don't know. I'm not in the building. But all I can tell you is the decisions that are being made in other areas lead you to be more than a touch skeptical that everybody is in good hands.
If you think we're being mean or evil, the Cowboys are going to fire their coach, who has won like an average of 11 or 12 games per year. The Philadelphia Eagles fired Doug Peterson after he won a Super Bowl for them. They might fire this coach who took them to a Super Bowl. Yeah. It happens all the time where winning coaches get fired. This guy, like you said, 3 wins on the road in his entire career.
3-17. And this isn't personal. I mean, anyone that would tell you, Matt Eberflus is a wonderful guy. He's a great guy. I think he's a good defensive mind, although he had some defensive coordinator lapses yesterday that can't be ignored as well. I mean, those aren't just head coach mistakes. Those are DC mistakes. Are we supposed to just overlook these things?